The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, everyone. Well, I think we're ready to go here. Just wanted to do a little sound check, and sorry about the short delay. I know we got a couple people attending today, and this is a short notice webinar, and I'm actually going to try something new today. I'm going to try to use my webcam in addition to the slides. So this is a new thing that GoToWebinar just started recently doing, so if you would, shoot me a little chat in the chat box and let me know if you're able to see both the slide that I have on screen right now, which should have the theme of the webinar, and actually where my webcam is showing up, because I don't see that here. So if anyone online could do that for me, I'd certainly appreciate it. Just type it in there in the little chat box, and then we'll get started. All right, very good. Well, this is Dennis Kay down here with RE/MAX Southwind on the beautiful island of Ambergris Caye, Belize. I'm broadcasting live from my office here, right across from Tropic Air and just about 100 yards or so from the Barrier Reef. Today's webinar I put together for those who are looking to buy in Belize using their self-directed IRA. And we're going to talk about the pros of doing so, but also what you need to watch out for. And also I have a little bonus section here regarding owning property in Belize, but doing so through an IBC or an international business company. So let me just get the slides rolling here and we'll move right along. First of all, just some quick background information. My wife and I moved down from the cold state of Michigan, cold half the year anyway, about 11 years ago. We lived on both the mainland of the country of Belize and also on the islands. We much prefer the islands rather than the mainland for a multitude of reasons, which I won't get into here. But Ambergris Caye is our home. This is where we lived for the past 8 years or so. And as this aerial view shows, it's just a beautiful place to live. You have the Barrier Reef running the entire length of it, just off our shores, world-class snorkeling, diving, fishing, just everything you'd want in a Caribbean destination. And for those of you attending today that aren't quite sure where Belize is, if you look at this quick map, it's located bordered by Mexico to the north, Guatemala to the west, and Honduras to the south. And remember, it's got two components. It's got a mainland component to it, and the island component, of course, is where we live. Again, this is my office here, RE/MAX Southwind, so if you're on your way down soon and you want to stop in and say hello, I'd greatly appreciate it. But let's get into our information. Many of you have been contacting me lately because you're looking to diversify your portfolio. You want to get some of your funds outside of the U.S. or Canada. You're not quite sure how to do this and what you're looking at. So today's webinar is going to focus primarily on how to invest money here in Belize using your IRA. And there's certain things you have to know before you do so. Many of you are looking at getting some of your cash outside the U.S. because you don't like the way things are going, or maybe you just want to diversify. You know that Belize is a good country to invest in because you can get higher than average ROI here for many reasons. I just looked at the U.S. debt clock a few hours ago, and the U.S. national debt was $16.8 billion. So if that's not many reasons to look at doing something here, I don't know what is. Now, the reason many people are looking at doing this and are doing it is because Belize offers a very secure property ownership. So when you buy a property, either personally or through your IRA, you can be guaranteed that you'll receive a fee simple title that's clear of any liens or encumbrances, and also that that property is secure. Belizean law was set up off of British common law. So we have the law system here that is very similar to that we have in the U.S. and Canada. And because of that, when you own property here, you feel very safe, very secure, and you don't have to worry about things such as squatters or people coming in and taking your property away. So from an ownership standpoint, that's one of the reasons I like buying and selling properties here in the country, is because of those very strict property laws. In addition, people like Belize because it's English speaking. All the contracts that we do are in English. All the banking that we do is in English. The government here is very pro-investment, which is good. So they're not going to do anything to make people nervous about investing in the country. Ambergris Caye was recently voted the #1 island in the world to retire to, the #1 island to live on, and it's been receiving a lot of publicity lately with Robert Kiyosaki being down here last spring and his Rich Dad advisors, the radio real estate guys out of California bringing investment groups down here almost every month now, and with John Turley, our owner-broker, speaking at different conferences and investment seminars in the United States on a regular basis. We see that more and more funds are pouring into the country. Another reason people are choosing here rather than some other more popular destinations, for instance, Costa Rica or the DR or Panama, is because Belize has very attractive tax laws. For example, we have very, very low income and business taxes here. So if you want to come down, open a business, you'd be surprised actually at how low our tax base is here. And also we have zero capital gains taxes. So if you're investing personally or through your IRA, then you need to know that if you buy a property for $100,000 and you sell it for $500,000, you do not pay a dime to any Belizean agency or government in capital gains taxes. So it's pretty good. Also, we have very low property taxes. On a $500,000 condo right on the ocean, you'd be looking at paying around $400 to $500 a year. And on a vacant lot, oceanfront or inland, the property taxes are $75 to $150 a year. So again, all good information if you're looking to invest here. Now, let's start to look at some of the rules and regulations that affect buying through a self-directed IRA, what's allowed and what's not, and how you can invest with your IRA down here and really come out way ahead rather than investing some of your funds in U.S.-based type, more typical investment type funds. And then we're going to answer some of the top questions and facts. First of all, let's go to the basics. I have a little cheat sheet here that I'm using to remind myself of all these good details. IRAs were set up to benefit you during retirement. They're for the future. And so you can't own real estate with them and benefit from that real estate yourself. What that means is, let's say you come down here and you find a beautiful condo that you want to own. You purchase it using your self-directed IRA. That condo is off limits to you personally. You can't go stay there, rent there. You can't get the rental income that's generated for that condo and put it back in your pocket. Remember, this is arm's length investing. So whatever you buy, you can't touch it right now, all right? This is for the future. So you need to remember that, because many people are coming down here thinking, oh, if I purchase through my IRA, I get to use it during the winters. Well, that's not true. So what this means, though, is that when looking for a property down here, you're buying it through your IRA, you don't necessarily look for a property that you personally think is the best for you and your personal usage. Because remember, you're not going to be able to use it. So instead, you look for a property that would generate the highest amount of ROI, either a condo that rents really well or a piece of vacant land that has the highest potential for appreciation. Now, this condo or this piece of land might not even appeal to you, but that's not the point. The point is you're making an investment. Now, sure, down the road, you may want that condo or piece of land for your personal use. But right now, many people buying through their IRAs have a good 10, 15, 20 years to go or more before they'll be able to use that property themselves. So what I will help you do is find a property that benefits you now, gets you the highest ROI, and then when the time comes, you can either flip that property if it's not what you want to use personally, or you can find somebody else to invest those funds. So there's certain things also you need to keep in mind regarding buying property through your IRA. For instance, your IRA cannot buy property from you or your spouse or parents or grandkids, basically anybody in your family tree. And this is important to know. For instance, if you already own property here in Belize, then you can't sell it to your ROI. That's off limits. You lose your tax-free status on those funds. And you also can't buy or sell property using your IRA through your tax attorney or your CPA or any of your other financial advisors. So just something to consider there. Now, with that all being said, the process to do this is actually pretty simple. And here's the 7 steps. You need to open and fund an IRA. Now, many of you already have them in place. So you have maybe a bulk amount of money in there that you can use to invest now, and you probably make yearly annual contributions. So what you need to do is figure out how much of those funds you want to invest in real estate down here. It can be all of them, it can be a portion of them, whatever you want to do. And also you need to think in terms of, do you want to buy something with cash using your IRA, or do you want to finance a property using it? And you can do both. And I'll get into those here in a little bit. Once you determine how much money you have to work with, let me know what you're looking for. Are you looking for a piece of land that will appreciate in value over the years, or are you looking for a condo or a home that would generate some rental income? I will help you locate that property based on your criteria. Once you've located that property, we simply make an offer to purchase like you would anywhere, like in the States or Canada. Make an offer to purchase, 10% down, closing in 30 to 60 days. Now, once we have a property under contract, all you would do is go to your custodian who manages your IRA fund, and you actually fill out a DOI form. Let me just get out my little cheat sheet on this, make sure I'm not missing anything. All right, your DOI form is your direction of investment form, and basically you're requesting that your custodian send in that earnest money to our escrow account, all right, to secure the property. Once that is done, we'll fill out the transfer of land forms. We'll proceed with a normal closing, just like you're used to in buying personal property. And at the end of the closing period, either 30 or 60 days, you'll fill out another DOI form requesting the balance of the funds plus all closing costs be sent to our escrow account. And then basically the title will transfer now, not into your personal name, of course, but title will transfer into the name of your IRA. So these are the simple steps. This is not difficult to do. Now, if you were to go to your custodian right now and request that they help you buy a property in Belize, it would be safe to say that they probably aren't familiar with it. They would probably recommend that you not do it simply because they're not familiar with offshore investments. However, there are a lot of custodians in the United States that specialize in this type of purchase. For example, we use a company out of Ohio called Equity Trust, and I can put you in contact with our good contact there, John Bowen. He's an excellent custodian, and he's helped several of our clients transfer their IRAs into an Equity Trust IRA and purchase real estate down here. And here are some of the questions that we often get on this. Can my self-directed IRA purchase real estate in Belize? Well, the obvious answer is yes, but remember, you can't use the property or benefit from it personally, which is kind of good news because it would sort of blur the lines, right? I mean, this is an investment. You're buying for investment, for your future, for your retirement. So you don't want to cloud the purchase by what you personally like or don't like. It doesn't matter if the condo is butt ugly, if you don't like the location. It doesn't matter if the piece of land is something that you would never build on. What matters is, does the property give a good return on investment? Now, you can't use the property yourself. You can't benefit from it, so keep that in mind. And also, when you purchase property in Belize, through your IRA, remember this, that all the maintenance, the taxes, the repairs, everything that would go into maintaining that property has to come through the IRA and cannot be paid by you personally. Let me give you an example. On the screen right now you see a standalone condo unit. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo unit with views of the sea. This is listed at $239 US. So let's say you had $239,000 exactly in your IRA. Can you purchase this? Well, no, because you don't have enough for closing costs and stamp tax, and those funds can't come out of your personal pocket. You would have to have more like $250,000 in your IRA. But you got to keep this in mind as well. This is going to have some expenses with it. It could be some major repairs once in a while. Could be some damage that's been caused by a storm or something. You need to make sure that you're contributing to the IRA enough money each year to cover these types of expenses, or be reasonably guaranteed that the rental income that the condo would do is enough to cover these types of expenses. So what I'm saying here is don't don't sell yourself short, and don't buy the maximum that you feel you could buy. Sort of stay under that a little bit in order to have a good, safe investment. Now, when it comes to land sales, here's why I really recommend people look at buying through their IRA, because land sales are very easy to own. I mean, they have very low carrying cost. Property taxes here are extremely low on vacant land. And so what I recommend is that you look for an area of the island that is up and coming. And I talk about this a lot in my other webinars. There are certain areas of the island that are just now opening up, and we're going to see a massive amount of development in some of these areas. For instance, the Ambergris Bay area on the west side of Ambergris Key, the Grand Belizean Estates, Palmyra Woods, this whole area of the island that you see here on your screen now, that's going to see a lot of activity in the future. And because right now it's pretty far from development, by pretty far I mean mile and a half, not far by most standards, but far by island standards. But as development comes around and takes place in this area, as power gets there, as people start to build, we're really going to see prices escalate. So what I recommend, if you're buying just for investment, vacant land is the way to go. It's an easy purchase, and if you buy in the path of progress, you're going to achieve the highest ROI. Now, here's a question that people have been asking as well. What happens to the rental income if you own an approved property? So let's go back to the condo scenario. I just sold 2 condos at Banana Beach for a ridiculously low price, and the owners there are buying through the IRA, and they want to rent them out, obviously, all right? So all the rental income that comes in from the rental of those 2 condos will have to go back into the IRA, all right? Plain and simple. If you sell the property, let's say you bought one of these condos for $100,000 US, and you sold it for $150 or $200 in the future, that money then all goes back into your IRA, which you can then invest. That money cannot go to you personally. Here's another kind of unique fact. Let's say you have $100,000 in your IRA, and you want to pay cash for several properties, but you don't have enough to pay cash. Well, what do you do then? Well, again, what I recommend is that you find a developer or a owner who is willing to finance the property, and you can finance properties using your IRA. For instance, these lots that I'm selling up in Palmyra Woods, they're $25,000 cash. So let's say, for example, you have $100,000 in your IRA. You could easily buy for cash. But rather than doing that, you could put $2,500 down on each lot, so your total at closing is only $10,000, and then you can make payments of $230 a month per lot, which is under $1,000 a month for 4 lots. Now, why do I recommend this? Well, it takes advantage of the power of leverage. If you're looking at your overall IRA having $100,000 in it, you've only used up $10,000 of it for your down payment, and then you're only paying $12,000 a year on those 4 lots. So the lots are escalating in value, quite rapidly in this area. So it allows you to invest just a portion of your IRA and then use the other funds to do something else with. And what you can do on this is you can only do this if it's a non-recourse loan. So for instance, you can't get a bank loan with your IRA. It would have to be some sort of loan through a developer or through an owner who agrees that if you default at any time in the future, that he will not go after you personally or after the IRA. All right, you lost out on your down payment and you lost out on your monthly payments. Finally, can you use funds from your self-directed IRA to renovate a property and sell at a higher price? Well, yes, you can. You can buy a condo. For instance, there's condos right now available at Royal Palms for between $200,000 and $225,000. You can buy one of those, renovate it with funds that you have in your IRA, and you have to pay for those renovations with IRA money. Then you can flip it or rent it out, whatever you want to do. But that's 100% acceptable. What I recommend is that if any of you are looking into this, email me and I'll put you in touch with John Bowen of Equity Trust Company. And there's no charge to call him, email him, ask him all the questions you want. He's a very good guy, very detail-oriented. He'll answer any questions you have and help you to see how you can roll over your existing IRA into a self-directed IRA at Equity Trust. And he's well familiar with how to purchase property here in Belize. Now, that does it for the IRAs. Let's move on to owning property in an IBC. This is something that very few real estate agents in Belize know about. We just started using IBCs to hold property here a few years ago, and the benefits are huge. No one should ever buy a property here and not take title using an IBC. Here's why. If you own a property here in an Anguillan IBC, or any IBC, such as a BVI or Panamanian or can't think of it now. All right, any of those IBCs, then you are protected from lawsuits. If you're sued in the States or if you're sued in Canada, they can't find that you own property here in Belize. So it gives you some asset protection. Also allows you a good level of privacy. So if you want to buy a property down here, but you don't want anybody to be in your business, you don't want any U.S. or Canadian entity to know that you have property down here, hold the property in an IBC. It's a very simple way to ownership to own down here, and it allows you to take advantage of a lot of different taxation benefits that I'll go through here in a minute. So what I recommend is that if you're buying property, use Capital Corporate Services to do your closing. They charge 1 to 1.5% of the purchase price. Lawyers here charge 2 to 3%, so you're getting a good savings to begin with if you go through Capital Corporate Services. But also, they will set up your IBC, handle the directors, help you set up your offshore bank account. They'll handle everything for you, and they're a good quality company to work with. Now, here's a little example of how owning in an IBC works. Let's say you're buying property down here for investment and personal use. Let's say you have a variety of reasons that you're owning. What I suggest is that you go down to British Caribbean Bank and open up an offshore account and hold that offshore account in an Anguillan or Belizean IBC. Just hold it in a company, all right, not your personal name. And then with that company, you can start to buy investment properties. Now in this slide, I show the example of one client who bought 2 vacant lots, and a lot that he plans to build a home on. Okay, so here's the ownership structure. He has his holding company. Underneath there, he has each of his properties, and each of the properties is held in a separate IBC. All right, now here's why. Let's say he buys his first vacant lot in Palmyra Woods, as an example, for $25,000 cash. All right, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, whatever the time frame may be, he sells that lot for $50,000 cash. So he's made a $25,000 profit. If he held the property in his personal name, then when he sold the property, he would receive funds in the amount of $25,000 US profit, right? He would be liable for taxes on that money. If he owns in this type of ownership structure, the money that he gets for his vacant lot 1 simply goes back into his Belizean holding company, all right, his offshore account, 100% legal. So now he can use those funds to buy other real estate in Belize, make other investments, even own stocks and bonds. So there's a lot that you can do here with tax savings. Another thing he could do is, let's say he, on that 3rd vacant lot, he decides to build a home. All right, so bought the lot for $25,000, build a nice home for another $100,000, and he decides to sell it for $200,000 in the future. All right, so now he has $2,000 worth of funds coming in. Again, if he were to have that property titled in his personal name, all of a sudden now he has $200,000 coming in. Nice chunk of that is profit. If he owns in this type of ownership structure, the $200,000 simply goes back into his holding company that is legitimately doing business here in Belize. The same scenario would work if you owned a condo that you rented out. All that rental income that you would generate, rather than taking that in your personal name, simply set up in this ownership structure, and now you have the holding company that is actively doing business here. Now with that holding company, you can take funds out of it. You can take personal income, you can take dividends, you can have a debit card attached to it, or a credit card attached to it. So again, you can use those funds. For instance, when you fly down here to Belize to check on your investments, all those funds can legally come out of that fund. But again, you're using the bulk of those to simply keep recycling and doing business here and letting those funds grow. Another important thing they need to keep in mind when buying property here in Belize is the stamp tax situation. Now, every time that a title changes hands from one person to another person, it has to go through our lands department in Belmopan. Every time it goes to the lands department, the person that is receiving the new title that bought the property has to pay 5% of the purchase price to the Belizean government in stamp tax, okay? That happens every single time. Now, the legal way to get around that is if you hold title in an IBC, then when you sell the property, the buyer or even your children, let's say you give this title now to your children, give the property to them or grandkids, however you want to break it up. If it's in an IBC, then you simply sign over the shares to them. All right, so if you got 2 kids, you can give them each half of the property, got grandkids split up, whatever you want to do. But since the title didn't change hands, the title is still in the name of the corporation. You simply signed over the shares. So you saved the buyer or the receiver of that property 5%. And let me tell you, that can add up. Let's say you own a condo at Grand Caribe or Cocoa Beach, and the condo is worth, say, $500,000, all right? If you own that in your personal name, that when you gave it to the kids, they would owe the Belizean government $25,000 in stamp tax, because that's what it is. If you own that title in a corporation, they pay 0 in stamp tax. So that's how much it can mean to them. The cost to form an IBC is $950. It's a one-time fee, and then your annual filing fee or renewal fee is $400 US. And they're very simple to form. Capital Corporate Services has an office right here on Front Street, and they maintain all the England IBCs right there. I like that because you can walk into the office, speak to them, pull out your paperwork. You can make adjustments, whatever you want to do, and it's very, very simple. So I know today's webinar was kind of short, but I wanted to keep it specific and to the point. Again, if you're looking at investing using your IRA, shoot me an email and let me know how much of your IRA you want to invest down here and what those funds look like, and what is your goal in doing so. Do you want a condo that you have rental income on that you might want to use when you retire? Or are you just looking for ROI, just looking for investment? And for that, I would probably recommend vacant land. And whatever you buy, whether it's through your IRA or even just for personal use, always buy using an IBC. It'll save you a lot of money now, and it'll save a lot of money in the future for your family and loved ones. All right, well, thanks for attending today. I'm Dennis K. again here at RE/MAX Southwind. I hope you were able to see the webcam. Sorry about this goofy-looking headset, but just what I have to use for a microphone. And I look forward to hearing from you soon. Check out my website, remaxbz.com, and email me at DennisKii, that's Dennis K. II, @gmail.com. And I hope you have a great day.